Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to the Lead-Laced Anarchy channel here on YouTube, and to another gaming chat for the Walking Dead survivors. It's going to be a huge one today. We got about 48 hours right now until Season 8 begins for my region and a few others, obviously. I assume we're going to be doing one of the Rise of Tension things again, which would make logical sense, but that it was interesting, though, because it didn't say that, though. What it said was, usually that does happen, but what was interesting to me was that it said it would be season 8 content being open in 2 days, and I'm just like, okay, are we gonna have the map in 2 days? Because you're just not doing Rise of Tensions at all now, is what it is. Because I would think you would be, and my assumption would be is that it probably will be a Rise of Tensions event, just because every single season leading up to now, they've done one of these things, and it's always to determine like who gets the best buff and who gets the worst buff kind of thing. Which is obviously, they start out by giving you a bunch of shells and other stuff, and it basically then leads you and everybody else, which it used to be clan versus clan or coalition versus coalition is what it was, in the regions and whatnot. And then, like, obviously it was region-wide event is what it was. And then eventually it was basically, we'd all work together and try to get, like, the best thing. And then, of course, this last time around, it was the war packs versus each other. So instead of it being 4, it was 2. It was, you got either 1 or 2 is what it was. And then, you still got a decent buff is what it was either way. But anywho, it'll be interesting though. And then obviously the other major news is that, which is I'm going to be going over here momentarily, which is we got a huge ass update coming up for maintenance. That is literally 18 months or so in the making, which is about roughly how long I've played right now. And really it's like several years in the making as far as I'm aware, because it's totally changing the game entirely. They're adding double the stamina to all your formations, et cetera, there, which should have been done at least 6 months ago anyway. I've been saying this for a while now, since like basically season 5, I think is what it was, give or take, of how it's such a pain in the ass. Whenever we were still in 134, actually, I think that was season 5 when we jumped between that and then current season is what it is then. And yeah, it was such a pain in the ass, dude, because you were trying to run rallies, and when you're having 20 stamina per rally eaten up, you can only do so many. This is obviously before we had a 5th formation, too, for that matter. So, you're basically maxing out at 80 at that, or no, is it 80? Or no, it would be 20 rallies for 100 stamina, and then you're obviously using bread for another one, or whatever the case be, and then it's just a pain in the ass is what it is. And then, of course, with the 5th formation now, you can actually do 25, but even still, it's like, that's not a lot, dude. Especially when you have people that could potentially be running a rally all day, every day, pretty much. And knowing that we're going to have double the stamina now at 200 instead of 100, and I'm assuming rallies are still going to be 20 apiece is what it would be. You can pretty much do 50 fucking rallies in a row then, from full stamina, and then have 0 stamina, but have everything from 0 to 50 done for, the Rescue Rick events. And that would include, obviously, getting, more of the things you would need for your 50 reward mark for the Arid Chain, Morgan, Militia Rick trio. So, anyway, but, we're going to go ahead and read what's going on here right now, which for those interested in knowing, I actually use part of this particular thing right here as one of my icons now is what it is for the my little portrait in the game. Basically, obviously in this case it's Rick on one side, Glenn on the other side. You got Rick with his iconic Colt revolver, and you got Glenn with what looks like Daryl's crossbow or something probably. Although, of course, Daryl's not in the game, so it would be Dwight's crossbow, most likely, would be my guess. And then they're obviously about to, murk out a walker. But it's funny because you take the walker out of this and you slim this down a little bit. It kind of looks like Glenn and Rick are on either side of a pillar trying to murk each other out. So, that's pretty much why I made it the way I made it, because it just looks funny that way. But anyway, to go on with what's going to be this update here in a couple days then, whenever they do the maintenance here. It says new update is approaching. What's new? Stamina adjustments. Each formation now has a max limit of 200 stamina, was 100. Bread is added to the rewards at the first 4 chest rewards and daily tasks. That's actually a huge change too, by the way, because as it stands right now, it's the first one and the last one when you're at 25. And when you're under a town hall of 25, it is only the first one that gets that. So, yeah, the fact that they're bringing bread at every single one of these things is like, bravo, people. Like, about fucking time you give us the ability to get, bread refreshments every single day is what it'll be then. Like, that is a huge change, obviously, and a much, much needed one, obviously, for that matter. Same thing with the double stamina there. It said in world events, world exploration events, the appearance probability of, quote, abandoned squad events with bread as reward is increased. That should be huge, too, as well. I really wish they would fix their shit, too, by the way, when it comes to the dog ones, because I'm not sure exactly what the overall, I forget what the actual thing is called. It's like animal something or other. But the problem is, and I've showed this before on streams, is you have a probability of getting, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. dogs, depending on, up to like, I think it's 6, depending on if it's, the basic green, the common, or if it's the uncommon blue, or if it's the epic purple, or if it's the legendary gold. And the problem with that is there are some times where you can pull a purple or a gold and there'll be nothing there. It'll be legitimately, you will get your, what do you call it? The experience thing for the dog, and you'll get like some nails or whatever the case be, and there'll be no animals at all for that matter. And then other times, I'll pop one of those things and there'll be 6, 7 animals in there. So the inconsistency really pisses me off is what it is, dude, because it's like, again, there should be no matter what, there should be a guaranteed thing in each one of those where it goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 anyway. Like, that's what I would say, truthfully. Like, it should be guaranteed you have at least one dog or sheep or cow or whatever in the first one, the green, and then blue, it's 2 of those things, and then purple, it's 3 or more, and then gold, it's 4 or more, like guaranteed. Which really, when you're getting the gold, it should be 5 guaranteed. So, because really, it should go from like 1 to 2 to actually like 4 and then to 5. Where I would say at least 3 to 4 anyway for the last 2, just to like like I would say minimum anyway, have both gold or both legendary and epics be a mandatory like 3 animal drop every single time. So if nothing else, like you're getting like, and I would say it don't even have to be dogs for that matter. It could be a dog, a sheep, and a cow, or it could be 2 dogs and a cow, or it could be 2 dogs and a sheep, or it could be, some combination thereof is what it would be. So, but yeah, like the actual coding that they should put in there should guarantee you like at least 3 animals across the board right now. So, and then also, some experience too for that matter. But anyway, so going back to the rest of this though, so that's obviously going to be awesome in that one. And then we got number 2, added clan member labels. Leaders in R4s, vice leader or recruiter, can label members of their clan. Labels are only visible in clan chat and clan member UI. I'm still not sure what the UI thing is. I can't remember what that even stands for. But I'm assuming it would be something where you can basically give people like different, like when they're saying labels and stuff, it'd be like, like mercenary or assassin or, basically whale. Maybe it would be one of them, or like mini whale or something like that would be another label potentially. People that are like the pay to win people and stuff like that. Then we got number 3 on here, optimize fog exploration. It said added a button, quote, use map. When tapping the fog, you can stick the button here directly to make the fog dissolve. See, that's actually nice. I appreciate that quite a bit now is what it is. Because, and I think, again, this is something where they've listened to the actual user base and the people that are actually playing the game and obviously paying money into the game is what it is here. Because the problem with the fog on every single map for the season maps and stuff is you'll have like this whole dissolvable shit here is what it is. And you have, let's go ahead and say 1,000 maps, in your inventory at the time or whatever the case be. You can either do 1 at a time or you can do, 10, I think it's 10 at a time or something like that. The problem is they're so fucking random. It can be, 10 random things like across the board around you is what it is there. And yet, meanwhile, the place you actually want the damn shit to dissolve is like over here, where one of your other clans in your coalition exist and where their actual base is. So you can just pop yourself right down in that base or whatever the case be and be like, cool, I'm here now. Like, let's start fucking building your expansion bases and stuff like that. So, yeah, that should be good. Hopefully that will happen, obviously, very soon. Before the obviously this is going to be, I think, with the upcoming season, hopefully. So that should be really good. And then we got added achievement for login days. An achievement is added for total login days. The achievement is rewarded to you based on your historical login days. Only new players need to start at level 1. So that should be fucking cool because right now I think it's like 560 something days in my main account, and then it's like just under that in my other accounts because it was like a month or so later when I started those two is what it'll be. So I think there's still over 500 is what it'll be there, pretty close to it anyway. But yeah, that should be fucking awesome. To see what the achievements are going to be there. Number 5 is one of the things that I am super happy about. I know everybody else is going to be happy about this too, which is optimize the shielding implemented by the system. It says when the system activates a shield, the time of the shield will no longer overwrite an active shield. Instead, the new shield duration is added to the time the shield is added to the time of the shield that is already active. Example, the game goes under maintenance. The system activates an 8-hour shield for you. You are already had a shield active that lasted for 2.5 more hours. Your shield's duration then becomes 2.5 hours plus 8 hours for 10.5 hours. So this was 8 hours, just the time of the shield system activated shield. So, okay. Yes and no on that one, because I think I read that wrong actually when I was thinking about it earlier. Because the way I was reading that earlier, and I think I did fuck up on that one, because I didn't read it as like shield activations from the system itself. It was, hey, if you're going to activate a shield, it's no longer going to be something where, you know, it's overriding your previous shield. Because the way I was thinking it was, okay, cool, I can, you know, take 3 8-hour shields now and make a day of, you know, no hits basically. But I don't think that's how it's going to be. I think it's just going to be, you know, like they were saying there, like maintenance or some kind of activated shield from the system itself. Then if that'd be the case, which is still cool, obviously, because that's one thing that did piss me off quite a bit. Actually, there was times where I didn't realize we were going to be in maintenance in a couple hours, and I blanked out, and I just, you know, popped an 8-hour shield up or whatever the case be, and then you're just wasting a shield basically is what it is for the next hour or so, because in, you know, an hour or two from that time, then you're going to have a 10 or 12-hour shield pop up automatically is what it'll be then. So that is cool, though, because then it would allow us to actually be able to have a thing then, which does kind of make me wonder, though, with that being said, since it said it would do that when the system, you know, would overwrite your shield, essentially, but it would, like, rewrite it to, like, a new time period or whatever the case be, though. Okay, so say that I had that shield already in place from the system itself, and I go to activate an 8 or a 12-hour shield after that, is it going to add that time to it, or is it just going to overwrite it then is what it is? Because I feel like that would overwrite it still is what it would be then. So that being said, knowing that now, and knowing that, you know, maintenance will be coming up and stuff like that, I almost guarantee there's going to be people that are going to put up, like, pretty much a day shield what it'll be then. And so it'll have, you know, for them it would actually be, you would have whatever shield is going to be procking from the system in, like, 40 minutes or whatever the case be, plus whatever you're putting up right now, which would be another, you know, 12-hour shield or 8-hour shield, whatever it is there. It doesn't matter, honestly. So, yeah, that could definitely be huge, honestly, and be, I don't know if I really call it abuse per se. It would just be like, you know, perfect add-on kind of things would be there. So that'd be cool. And then we got number 6, which was other optimizations. The small buff UI on the top right corner of the screen can now display up to 3 buffs: season buff, a regular buff, and then shield, which previously was 2 buffs. So, yeah, that one's kind of whatever, honestly. Like I said, I actually thought the shield was going to be better than it was, but it's not quite as good. I think, honestly, that being said now, the best part of this then for the update would definitely be the adjustment of the max limit of stamina being doubled now, and then also the bread for the first 4 daily tasks. So yeah, So those will definitely be, I think, the two best things for that one. Then it'll also be kind of funny to see what people start labeling people in different clans and stuff like that. Because I can totally see somebody being like, "You are the saboteur, sir," kind of deal or whatever. But I don't know. I doubt it though. But it'd be funny if that's what it was though. So anyway, but yeah. That being said, I was talking to Megan earlier today. I mentioned something to her. I was like, "Yeah, we got season 8 about to start here in a couple of days." I was like, "Are we planning on doing a Discord Q&A then before this happens?" Because I know that they shifted a bunch of people around all 3 of our clans here recently, and they also kicked out a bunch of T8s and like really low level T9s and stuff like that from the main coalition to have them go and build like the second coalition for this coming season. What it is there. So my thought process was like, okay, like I know we got a bunch more people coming here now. It's like, but what's going to be the overall plan for this going forward is what it is. And I think what it was is the reason they did what they did was shifting people around is what it was, is you had a bunch of people here, a bunch of people there, and 2 of the clans that were like super, super powerful, like legit, like pay to win, wallet slayer kind of people and stuff like that's what it is. And then you had other people that were like lower level and stuff in like the 3rd clan of the coalition. And now it's basically they're trying to shift like power levels between the 3 is what it is there, and make sure you got like, here's like 4 or 5 in this set, here's 4 or 5 in this set, here's 4 or 5 in this set, and then there's still a couple more between the 3 of them is what it is then, that are able to carry, because there's people obviously like that are way stronger than I am right now, like me being a T10 and stuff like that. All my accounts doesn't really matter, because if you're not 120 for your overall characters, your formation all the way around, you're not going to be as strong as someone who is what it is. So, I could be a T10 cavalry on my accounts right now, which is what I am. But yet the highest one I have is like, it's like a 106, a 108, and I think it's like a 110 or a 112 or something right now. And yet, meanwhile, the guy who is the same exact, formation that I have, except they're all 120s across the board, and they might not be a cavalry, they might be a melee or something like that, is going to be way stronger than I am. So even if I change my dudes to melee and stuff like that, they would still be way stronger than I am because of that. And they'd be able to, double or even triple carry sometimes the 31s. Meanwhile, I can only single carry those right now, as far as I'm aware. I think maybe one of my accounts is able to double carry recently, but that was with somebody way more powerful as well in that one. So, yeah, it's a whole thing there. And unfortunately, when it becomes that thing, you still feel inferior, like very much inferior is what it is. And unfortunately, the only way to get ahead is pay to win, unfortunately. And it's a situation where I don't have the money to do that right now, especially with, everything going on currently. And the very real possibility I'm not going to be living in this house in the next 6 months is what it is, which sucks ass, man. I talked about that on the open channel earlier tonight with Corey and Tactical. So, yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, I'm not really super worried. I'm just worried about, where I'm going to go, really is what it is. And I don't really want to dread on that is what it is. At the same time, I want to make sure I got my shit together here where I can actually do stuff, it'll be then. So anyway, yeah, that being said, it would be a whole situation. And then, it is what it is, man. So yeah, kind of fucking sucks, man. But yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at for the day right now. Like I said, with this whole update, though, it'll be very interesting to see what happens here and see how good or bad things actually are going to be. Which, like I said, I think there's definitely some good pieces that are being put in this update, and then of course there's other things I thought were better than they actually are, is what it is. So it's not too bad. Like obviously the shield thing is interesting in of itself. I am looking forward to seeing what those achievements are going to be based on the days and stuff like that. If it'll be something where it'll be like a continuous achievement kind of thing or something like that, like maybe just add it into the actual thing. That'll be the case where it's like, yeah, hit 700 days and you'll be, getting this or that or whatever the case being. It's like a bunch more rubies and stuff. So hopefully that'll be the case. That is what it is then. But like I said, the doubling the stamina increase is fucking huge. The adding more bread into the situation is obviously a big deal as well. The specific targeted use of fog clearing now is going to be really, really cool. And then, like I said, that achievement's going to be good. The maintenance shields will be interesting because obviously adding into instead of overwriting is nice. And then, yeah, I think that's about it, honestly. Like, that last one's kind of like a whatever. It's cool, I guess. But, yeah, it's not really necessary, I think, is what it is. I think it's more like the rest of the stuff is way better, honestly. And then, like I said, it'll be funny to see what people will be labeled as then after the fact. So, which I assume when they say about giving label members, like labeling members and stuff like that, it'll be probably like different things. Like I said, like mercenary or assassin or whatever the case be, or, you know, strong boy or something like that is what it is. Or like maybe it will be like customized like that or something, or maybe it won't be customized. Who the hell knows? So, like I can see them doing one that's like powerhouse or something like that. Like I don't think they'll be like super custom, like, oh, Mr. 120s or something like that. Which actually, technically, with the coming season, won't even be 120s anymore. It'll be 130s now. So that's when we'll actually see the difference between the people who actually are like the massive, like sort of like pay to win mini whales, etc., that have been holding on to shit for a long time now because of this, because they already had their shit maxed to 120, and the people that didn't have that done and aren't going to be able to do stuff, which obviously you'd have to do two things on that one to get everything 2 levels higher. Then is number one would be obviously have all the fragmentation you would need to actually do that would be the first thing, times 2. And then the other thing would actually be having a shitload of combat medals to get all your formations up to 120 then, or from 120 to 130 then. Because you can do it from basically, honestly, I guarantee there's going to be people out there right now that are in my clan and coalition and stuff like that. They'll go from like 120 to 124. And then they'll just be, stuck basically what it is because they don't have the necessary stuff to be able to increase is what it is then. So, actually, no, I think about, no, I'm sorry. It wouldn't be 124. It'd be 129. They would have the medals to, because I just realized I'm retarded. It's every 10 levels is where you have to have the fragments to do it up there. So yeah, they would be fine up to 124 into 125 with medals is what it is, and then it would be simply be from 129 to 130 is where they would actually need to have the ability to level up again is what would be there. So yeah, I think pretty sure I'm saying that correctly now. Now I got myself all confused, honestly. I really did. I really, really did actually on that one. Or no, wait, I am sorry. I was wrong about that. No, because you would have to have, it's every 2 levels. That's what it is. Because it used to be every 10 levels. Now it's every 2 levels you're doing a thing. So yeah, you'd have to have it be, in order to get from 120 to 130, you would have to have enough fragments at 122, 124, 126, 128, and 130. So it's actually 5 different levels, and this would be then. And then it would be the middle one, and it would be those middle sets then, that the 125 and the 130 then are the ones that would actually need to have the medals to do the, grab up, whatever the case be. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who actually has everything. That's what it is then for all that stuff. But that being said, that's pretty much right for the day. I will be back. I'm not sure when exactly. I know we'll be back on Honda's chat on Sunday, hopefully. Probably over on Rumble. My guess this time around, since you got another channel strike from YouTube's fucker. I know Duke got a channel strike earlier tonight on his channel because I don't know if it was Foosh showing something on camera that may have hit TOS, or if it was, something else for that matter. I'm assuming that's what it was, though. And, again, Google is a bunch of a-holes because they're, denying literal constitutional freedoms in this country. So, anyway, it is what it is, man. Again, eventually I think we'll all be on Rumble or some other site for that matter, or we'll just be doing like other channels like this where we'll just talk about certain things and whatnot, and then just leave the politics aside as what will be then. So, but either way, I look forward to seeing what happens here with all this stuff, and I really look forward to season 8 upcoming here pretty soon. So, fingers crossed this time around that we have a really, really good war pack to people from different regions, and who knows if there's going to be more than it was before. Obviously, the last go around it was 3. It might be 4 or 5 this time around, for all we know, maybe even 6 for that matter. Like, it might just be double what it was last season. And if that be the case, it will be 6 in the thing then, if that be the case then. And then, of course, from there, it might be like, up to like 9 the next go around, and then, eventually 10. Or it might just be something where it's like every season they just add like one more set to the coalition is what it is then. Or I should say one more region to your actual war pack is what it would be then. So, because the thing is, you could actually have had, I think it's, as of this last season, I believe we could have had actually like 6 in our coalition, or different 6 different coalitions in our actual thing, because each one of our regions could have had 2 different coalitions in it if we wanted to have them in there. So, yeah, there were people in those second coalitions from my region and stuff that didn't get nothing last season because they weren't part of that whole thing, which does kind of suck for them, actually, because it would have been nice to have them get something there since they actually needed it the most, since they're, barely over there or whatever the case be, and some of them are farm accounts, obviously. But I think that's the whole point of this season is like, hey, everybody that got fucked over last season because the whole thing, like, all you guys now are going to be doing your thing over here now, and you're going to be, kind of a hub for us in between is what it would be then, which I could actually see that being the case. Is it's just we're just using those secondary coalitions to legitimately just be placeholders, essentially. And it's like, hey, here's our territory over here. Like, you're a placeholder for this thing right now, or whatever the case be. And then, if worse comes to worse, like, we can basically take it over before a season's end kind of thing is what it is then, and have you guys come over here kind of thing is what it is there. So, anyway. That being said, I know Matt's about to start his chat, so I think I'll jump over there real quick and figure out what's going on, and do what needs to be done then is what it is. And anyway, that being said, this has been a good one, and I look forward to seeing what happens in season 8 here. Obviously, it'll be a distraction from everything going on in real life right now, which is obviously the loss of my mother this week, which sucks ass and is a horrible thing. It should never fucking happen, and fuck goddamn big pharma forever is what it is now. And it's as simple as that, really, dude. So, yeah. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, y'all, and stay safe. Later.